Welcome back, everybody. As you come back in, welcome back. Glad to have you
Yeah.
guys back. Part 2.
Apparently, I can't leave and reset like Scarlet can.
Yeah, I just back out. I don't press end, I just back out. And then you can get back in. That's the best way to do it. So hopefully everybody will come back and join us because they'll get that new notification and they will start trickling back in. And maybe some people who didn't get the notification earlier will get this one now. All
Right,
good stuff.
right. Just ode to the possibilities.
Ooh, Haley, welcome back in.
Yes, thanks, Lee, for joining us yet again. I apologize. I made a boo boo. I left.
Greg's a little rusty on this, and it kind of just ended it all. And that's all right. So I just made a part 2, and so now we're back.
We're right.
Part deuce. I'm trying to get some Skittles, y'all. So don't mind this package noise, because I'm trying to get some Skittles.
You and your
I know Skittles are terrible, but I just want like 5 Skittles.
no Skittles for you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any
But there's
fruit.
a wild burger kind.
I don't have any fruit goodness. You can't have any fruit goodness.
Damn, gee, it's like that.
Yeah, man.
They go too. Because
I
like I
had
said,
high
there's a wild
chews.
berry kind.
I love them ones, but
Mm-hmm.
I had high chews, but I've run out of them.
And those are good too.
I love high chews.
High chews. You know what? You know what was my favorite when I was a kid?
Hmm.
Mamba.
Mm.
Mamba's like high chew,
All right.
but Mamba came in like the little 4-pack,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was like a bunch of different packs of flavors.
Right, right. Oh, welcome back, Pam.
The purple one, the purple package of Skittles.
Yeah,
Wow,
wow,
baby.
baby.
Yeah, those are the ones.
Those
Like the
are
red is good too, but like the purple ones are you get wild cherry, berry punch, melon berry, strawberry, and raspberry.
yeah. You get all the berries.
You get all the good ones, yeah.
Mm-hmm. All the berries, man. All the berries.
All berries. It's delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Legit. But Mamba are good too. Because Mamba doesn't have as much bite as Haichu. Mamba's softer, but it's still good. I
Right.
like that. And Razzles were always
Mm.
my favorite as a kid. Razzles was like you chewed them and then they turned into gum. It was like a candy at first.
Right.
It was amazing. I always thought it was weird because then it would like turn into gum. It was like 2 candies in one. It was amazing. I don't eat that much candy though. You know what I haven't eaten a whole bunch of lately though? Beef
What?
jerky.
Mm.
hmm I'm addicted to this gas station around here. Brothers has a they I think it's like Schrader's Meat Market. They carry it's the best beef jerky.
Right.
Really legit.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Everywhere carries beef jerky though at the gas station, like from like a processing plant to like cold beef jerky, like good beef jerky, like meat market beef jerky, not like Jack Link's. Which I mean is okay, but fresh is always best.
Right.
Um, jelly babies. I've had like wine gums. I don't know if those are similar, but I've had like wine gums from England. And I like their little lion bar.
No, I definitely have not had jelly babies.
I don't think I've had those. I've had a lion bar. Those are good. When you break it in the middle, it looks like a lion in the nougat. It's
Ooh,
it's dope. I'm not gonna lie.
that sounds
And
delicious.
then remember when you got the Arrow bar, G? That comes from England.
Yeah.
Those are good.
Yeah, those are good too.
With the either just the plain chocolate or the chocolate mint's good. Either one.
Right.
Mhm. I also like Maltesers. Those are good.
What?
Maltesers, they're way better than Whoppers, bro. They come from England, but
Mm,
they sell them in the States. But you gotta look for them because you're not used to seeing them.
I see.
They come in a red bag. Um, they're like tan or darker writing. Maybe it's like tan writing though. But it
Mm,
kind of looks like Whoppers, but it's a red bag. It's like the opposite of the Whoppers colors because you know how Whoppers have like red lettering and cream container. This is like
right.
red container, cream
Mm,
lettering. I don't think I don't know who makes them. Mars makes them in England. Don't know who makes Whoppers. I think it's Hershey's. Isn't it Hershey's?
mm,
Does Hershey's make Whopper?
I don't think so. I think Mars makes them here too.
Who makes Whoppers? I gotta look it up now. No, I'm invested, Joe. Who makes
They used to have Mars bars when I was a kid.
They did, and those were all right. Who make Hershey's? It's Hershey's, bro. I was right.
Mm,
Hershey Whoppers Malted Milk Balls. Hersheyland.com, bro.
right.
Yep, so it's Hershey. I thought it was Hershey.
Hey,
Um,
TLO.
Tilo. What's up, pleb? But
Tag
those are
on it.
good too. Tasty.
Tasty deliciousness.
Taste the deliciousness. I like food though. That's no secret.
Oh yeah, I really do.
How'd you turn robot all of a sudden? What the hell?
What you mean though? I'm not. I'm not.
But you are though.
It's not doing this to me.
It is. Okay, now you muted yourself. Unmute yourself.
I know. I did it on purpose.
No. Does everybody hear Red All Robot? Can everybody confirm out there in viewer land?
Ooh, that sounds delightful, Pam.
Oh yeah. That sounds good. Yeah, Maltese. Oh, at Aldi. Red don't have no Aldi.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't even think there's one close.
I don't. Mm-mm. No, ma'am. Lee hears me fine, she says. Lee says, "Stop. Stop. Stop." This daggone cat is going to drive me insane. I swear to God.
Okay, as long as you guys can hear it fine. That's all that matters.
No, cat, go away. I don't want you. You're not even my cat. Go away.
Whose cat is it?
This is that cat. This just cat.
I mean, it's obviously one of your cat's cats.
Yeah, but Mike is supposed to own this cat. This cat is supposed to be over at Mike's, living Mike life and his
Why
own
isn't it
thing.
over there?
I don't know, cause she over here messing with my life.
Dang, sorry, G.
And I mean, ow, sorry. She's super stupid. accept the fact that she just also, with the super sweet, comes being like super annoying.
It has been in and out, TLO. That's what I'm saying. They try to play games to make us like not hear each other. It's rude.
But so Mini Me has these little kittens that are like all black and hanging around. And Sylvester decided that an open door was a good door and brought his little butt inside. And ever since he came inside, this cat of Mike's, Sarah or Sora or Zora or whatever he's named her.
Yeah, it's like Sora or something. Yeah, it is something like that, ain't it?
Because he gets all mad too if you say it wrong.
Well, they'll be naming it from some damn video game or something that I don't know how to pronounce.
Yeah. No, Pam, I do not have a Trader Joe's either.
No, Red don't live by nothing.
No.
Red's got Walmart.
You guys don't know, other than like Walmart. Like Walmart. I can tell you, oh guys,
they're all mom and pops, like real small.
Right. I can tell you guys, I have a Sears, but guess what? It's like called a Sears Hometown, which you guys have probably never heard of ever in your whole.
A lot of smaller towns have Sears Hometown stores because they sell appliances.
Right.
We have one of them up here.
But that's like it. Like,
yeah, at least I have Target and all that. You know.
No,
but
man.
I come from the state of Target, though, so there would be Targets rurally. But there really isn't that many Targets out rurally. I'm just lucky to live by Alex, where there actually is one.
No, dude, I just get gypped. I get gypped all the way across the board with everything.
Yeah, you do get gypped. That's my only thing I get, though. Other than that, it's like mom and pops, or that's it.
Mm-hmm.
You get Target. Oh, I guess we get Fleet Farm, but Fleet Farm doesn't sell everything that Target and Walmart do either. Oh, and I guess we have Menards. But I forget about Menards because fuck Menards because they didn't let kids in during the pandemic.
No, Lee. I don't actually live on top of a mountain. I actually live in a valley.
Right.
Between a bunch of mountains. But it's just signal. Everything can be hard to get in here. Yeah, Pam, the cat loves me. It's not my cat.
Right. Do you even claim any of these cats?
No.
I mean, I guess Mini Me's yours, but
yeah, Minnie's the only one I claim. And Minnie doesn't want to come in.
Well, that's because she out living her best street cat life.
Mimi comes in, gets petted a little bit, and goes back outside and lives her Mimi life. I'm okay with that.
I mean, you know.
Sora comes in, eats, starts fights with all the other cats. Interrupts me, walks across my phone, you know, does all sorts of crazy cat-like stuff.
Cats are wild.
They are.
They just do whatever they want to do.
Most of the time.
Yeah, they don't care. They're like, oh, I'm going to walk across your face. Oh, I will bite you in your arm.
Yeah, but she only wants me, Lee. She only wants me when one of the other cats is in here.
Mm-hmm.
And then she wants to roll up all in here like, this is my space. No, it's not. You ain't never wanted in here. Ever. You ain't never even wanted anything to do with me. So any of these other cats decided, well, I'm going in there. And then you found out there was wet food in here for these little baby kitties. And you were like, all of a sudden, like, this is the land of where I live. No, fuck you.
Sounds like a bad baby cat to me. Yeah, that's how Minnie Me be like, catch me outside.
Right. Yeah.
How about that?
Does anybody remember Bebe's Kids? Like,
Right. Like we don't die, we multiply. Like
right,
that's
right.
what Minnie Me be like.
Yes, yes.
It's real.
Yeah, she be all wildin' then.
Well, yeah. And so basically, to finish out what we were talking about before the break, because we should do that, that was all 10. And explain, out of those, every single one they've broken.
Yes, and like I was saying too about I believe it was Lamb that had brought up that they were going door to door,
Yep.
up where he was and putting up FEMA camps, and that he had pictures of this. Um, and that's when I said duress is universally expressed by hanging that United States flag upside down.
Right.
Hang that upside down at your front door, at your gate, at the beginning of your property, wherever, right underneath it, beside of it, whatever. No trespassing sign at this point. Anything that they do once they come past that is under duress. Anything that they force upon you is under duress. You have given the universal sign of duress. If nothing else, that is a CYOB or CYOA if you want to cuss, or arse, so go with what you want there. Now, when I was on the other night with Dwayne and Tim, Tim was like, I didn't know that hanging the flag upside down could help protect with Nuremberg. Yeah, because it's a sign of duress.
Right.
So yeah, it is. It is a cover your own ass move.
Correct.
I also really feel like we're a freaking country in duress, guys.
Right.
Like I would like some help. If there are any countries out there that still like love America and want to help us, we're stupid and we can probably use it. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there.
Well, some of these other countries are figuring it out faster than us. In Italy, people are burning their cards and their papers to stand in solidarity.
Like I said, if there's I think that we should all be open to some help.
Absolutely.
Sweden.
What about Sweden?
Yeah, what about Sweden? Oh, Sweden. Sweden being one of the ones that you were just talking about that's like standing up, figuring it out.
Oh, right. Yeah, Italy, France is trying to fight back.
Okay, so TLO is pretty much like, I think, right on target with us. Like, as we're talking, he's pretty much hearing us. I think the other ones may be on a little bit of lag.
Right. Sounds like Sweden. I was like, where the hell did that come from? But then now that made sense. Okay.
Right. So, yeah, and like we're definitely and again we're gonna go into we went over this stuff. 199 were tried. Over 150 of them were actually convicted. 37 of which were actually put to death.
Right.
In the Nuremberg trials. Now, let's talk about the one thing that is it's very controversial. Everybody wants to make it very controversial, and it really shouldn't be. Everybody wants to call it conspiracy theory. No, no ma'am, no ham, no turkey, no spam. It is not a conspiracy. This did actually happen. It is truth. You do need to believe the truth. Whether you want to believe it or not, it is truth. You can find these truths on CDC sites, on the CDC site, as well as many, 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 many other ones, including and up to the History Channel itself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So right now, this actually is on the CDC site. So we're going to start right here. And this is the U.S. Public Health Service syphilis study at Tuskegee.
Tuskegee.
Tuskegee. Okay.
Right.
Now, rewind 1932. Okay.
Right.
Working with Tuskegee Institute, began a study to record the natural history of syphilis. Y'all, did you hear that? The natural history of syphilis. That makes them the experiment, y'all.
Right.
Guess what? They didn't have anything under the Nuremberg trial. I do believe the Nuremberg trial, the Nuremberg Code was in state. So, thus, every one of these people involved in this should have been brought up on charges.
Mm-hmm.
There should have been another Nuremberg trial.
They should have just included them, but I guess they didn't stop till 1960, whatever.
Right. Okay. So, now, it was originally called the Tuskegee Study of Untreated Syphilis in the Negro Male.
Right.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Negro male.
Only one type of bed. Not all bed. Not bed equally.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think that was?
Because they knew that they could manipulate that group the easiest into taking this.
Could it also be because syphilis causes what?
Like craziness.
Sterilization.
That's true too. And that could be where a lot of the narrative of like, crazy black men came from. If you injected everybody in syphilis and it started, breaking down their brain function.
No, she's not pregnant. Pam. She a baby. She like all little.
Who, Minimi?
No, stupid Zara, whatever.
Oh yeah.
Pam's still on the cat thing because she behind a little bit.
All right.
You're probably right, TLO. They probably haven't shut down.
No, Sweden never did shut down.
Now, the study initially involved 600 black men. 600. Now, for back then, that was a lot.
Yeah.
I
But they
mean,
told these men, like, oh, you have bad blood, so you need to get this.
that was the lie.
Yes, that was
it began with a lie. The lie was you have bad blood. You got to have these transfusions.
Right. We need to look at your blood. We need to figure out why it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these folks, I bet, were illiterate.
Right.
Or if not illiterate, was not comprehending what this was.
Right. And again, that goes against the whole they have to be able to do consent.
Right, because informed consent is paramount. Okay.
Right.
Informed consent is the top gold standard. Okay. Everybody should have to be informed to give consent.
Right.
It's a very simple concept.
Now, out of the 600 black men, 399 with syphilis, 201 who did not have the disease.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Participants where informed consent was not collected. Did y'all hear that? Do I need to say it louder for the ones in the back? Hey, Scarlett, want to say it louder for the ones in the back?
No. Can you say it louder for those in the back?
Participants were not given choice of consent.
Yeah, see, look, Nuremberg broken right there. But that was before Nuremberg, to be fair, because you said 1932.
No. Oh, yes, 1932. Yes.
I thought you said. So, I mean, that was before Nuremberg, I guess. But this was like the beginning of like World War II. Like Hitler would have been like, you know, he wouldn't have been popular yet. It wasn't until 1933 that he became very popular. But he'd have been around that.
Informed consent was not collected, G. Not collected.
See, look, like I just said, informed consent is the gold standard, y'all.
Okay. Now, then researchers told these men that they were being treated for, like you had just said, bad blood. The local term that was used to describe several ailments.
Yeah, pretty much anything that you didn't feel good from, you know, they believed it was bad blood. They didn't have a way to really explain health conditions yet.
Oh. Now, isn't this so sweet of them? Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
So, in exchange for taking part in the study, they receive free medical exams, free meals, and burial insurance.
Wow. Wow.
Mass graves.
Mm. Oh, did the government got to collect on the insurance policy?
I'm guessing.
Because if it, you know what I mean? That don't sound like the families got to
Oh, they
go.
didn't get insurance. They got burial. That's totally different. Burial insurance totally different from the insurance we think of now. Back then, burial insurance just meant your ass got buried.
Oh, right.
It didn't mean that your family or anybody was going to make any money. It just meant that they made sure that your body was taken care of and was not your family's problem. That was the only thing burial insurance meant back then.
True.
Now, by 1943, penicillin was the treatment of choice for syphilis, become widely available. However, guess what? Guess what?
What?
All the participants in the experiment were not given the option to take penicillin.
Mm.
Never even given the option of the cure.
Now that's sad.
Dun 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 dun.
Well, because it's like they kept these
Let
people
that
sick.
right. Let that set in. That's
Dun,
exactly what that
dun,
meant.
dun.
That's exactly what that means. They let these people stay sick, and they did it on purpose.
And do we think that they wouldn't continue to do things like this?
Right. And again, going back to one of my sayings that I say all the time, and you know I say it all the time, if the government is letting you see it or know the details of it, it's because they are trying to hide something way worse, and they're directing your attention to this to keep your eyes off of that.
Yep, it's like the man behind the curtain in Oz.
Right. So welcome to the inoculation.
You know, when he's like, don't look at the man behind the curtain, and he's still trying to like
Pay no
speak as
attention
Oz.
behind the curtain.
Yeah, like what, bro? We see you.
Now you
Like,
see him. Now you don't. Like,
right? Like we see you. We know it's you. We know there's no Oz.
right. We know. We know. And they're like, believe anyway. Nope.
Right.
Okay. How about no? All right. So in 1972, now, so 1943, G is when penicillin was popular as the treatment for syphilis and they weren't giving it out. And now 1972 is when the press story came out about the study and it was published. Now, only as a direct result of that. Oh, well, Daytona. Anybody from Daytona out in our 5 people eyeball watch? You're under a tornado warning, according to Pam. So,
Dayton, Iowa also has a tornado warning right now, too.
or maybe it's Iowa. I just assumed Florida. She just put Daytona.
Daytona, yeah, maybe she means Dayton, Iowa. Because there is a dangerous tornado warning. Supercell is on the way right now. That's according to Reed Timmer, extreme meteorologist.
Ooh, I wonder how close that is to my in-laws.
I guess I could look it up. Dayton, Iowa. Okay. Like 5 hours away. Oh, and it shows it on Google Maps.
Oh, jeez.
That's pretty cool. They actually show it.
Wow.
I'm gonna send it to you. But yeah, it's outside of. Oh, it's gonna be going towards Ames. Yeah, Ames, Iowa. It's gonna be going towards.
Well, because hubby's brother's getting married. They're supposed to be going down there. Real soon. Now, only when they published that article did the Assistant Secretary for Health and Scientific Affairs appointed what they called an ad hoc advisory panel to review this study.
I know, right, TLO? That's what I was saying. Like, it's a good signature on there. Yeah. It's wild. Oh, yeah, look at that.
Now, that panel then concluded that this study was ethically unjustified, and that is, the results were disproportionately meager compared with known risks to the human subjects involved. All Nuremberg code law again being broken.
That is true.
So in October of 1972, the panel then advised stopping this study. 1 month later, Assistant Secretary for Health and Scientific Affairs announced the end of the study, March 1973. The panel also advised the Secretary of the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare, now known as the Department of Health and Human Services, to instruct USPHS to provide all necessary medical care for the survivors of the study, which also really has not happened.
Right.
Okay. So the Tuskegee Health Benefit Program was established to provide these services. In 1975, the participants' wives, widows, and children were added to the program. Why it takes so long?
Right.
To add them to the program? You knew they was going to be infected. You knew that they were capable of spreading it to others. You knew this, and you still allowed it to continue.
That's true.
And then now listen, guys, because this isn't that far in the past now. So pay attention. 1995, y'all, the program was expanded to include health as well as medical benefits. And the last study participant died in January 2004. 2004, y'all. That's not very long ago.
Not at all.
In the large scheme. Okay. And the last widow receiving THBP benefits died in January of 2009. There are 10 present children that continue to receive medical and health benefits. Later in 1973, a class action lawsuit was filed on behalf of the study participants and their families, and it did get $10 million out of court settlement in 1974. $10 million was all this was worth for 600 participants and their families. For 40 years of infecting their generations and children and bloodline, crippling their families. And it was a $10 million out of court settlement. May 16th, 1997, President Bill Clinton issued a formal presidential apology for the study.
Think about that. Some of these people wouldn't even been around by then.
It took all the way to 1997 for America to admit what they did to these people, ladies and gentlemen. And you think that they won't do it again?
Right. So true.
You think they're not doing it right now? Come on. Come on. You're joking. Okay, yeah, and I'm gonna need you to catch up right now because yeah. Now, what? No, there are comments. Shush your face. No, not what I wanted there. Hold on, it's messing with me. There we go. Okay. Now we're gonna look at another article from PubMed. Okay. Well, that's good. I'm glad that you're going to be safe then, Pam. My bad. My bad.
Where did you go?
Wrong button, G. I hit the wrong button. So, now we have jumped over to PubMed. Now PubMed calls this an untreated study of untreated syphilis in the Negro male that was an observational study. that was done specifically on African American males in Tuskegee, Alabama between 1932 and 1972. U.S. Public Health Service ran the study on more than 300 people without notifying the participants about their disease nor treating them even after the introduction of penicillin. The study included recording the progress of the disease and performing an autopsy on the deaths. See, so this is why they really covered the burial insurance. See? Because if they pay to bury your body, guess what? They have your body so they can do an autopsy.
Right.
So they didn't really give you burial insurance for the betterment of you or your family. It was still their own gain.
True.
Just saying. All right. So now they're going to talk about 3 driving forces behind the Tuskegee study. The first, which is important to understand, Public Health Service was established in the United States Surgeon General's office, operated as a military organization. Military organization, G.
Wow. Who would have thought?
Okay. Amidst the development of an imperial agenda of the United States in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the PHS was responsible for protecting hygiene and the superiority of the American race against infectious foreign elements from the borders. Did you hear that? Infectious elements from where? The borders. The borders. So maybe there was something to shut down the borders? Just saying. I mean, that could have really been helpful. So, the U.S. Army's experience of medical experiments in colonies and abroad was imported back to the country and formed a crucial part of the attitude and philosophy on public health.
Interesting.
Now, the second point was growing influence of eugenics and racial pathology at the time reinforced discriminative views on minorities. Progressivism was realized in the form of domestic reform and imperial pursuit at the same time. That's pretty drastic.
It is.
Okay. Major medical journals argued that Blacks were inclined to have certain defects, especially sexually transmitted diseases like syphilis, because of their prodigal behavior and lack of hygiene.
Wow.
You know, had nothing to do with the fact that they were infected with syphilis on purpose.
Right.
Has nothing to do with that. No. We let the American people believe that they got this because they was dirty and nasty, when in fact we gave that shit to them and then told the American public that they were dirty and nasty to treat them like shit so that we would ignore what they were doing and the experiment that they were conducting in the aspect of the safety of the rest of us. So it's okay that they did this to 600 Black people in America, on American soil, in Alabama, because it was for the betterment of everyone else, right?
Right.
Right. So as long as in 40 to 50 years they come forward and go, oh, hey guys, that COVID vaccine thing, we're real sorry about that, and probably should have told you that we did 40 years of it and we didn't give you the cure. And we let it run rampant and we just kept recording the results. And we let all your children get sick and die and, all the other stuff that went with that. But, hey, we're sorry now. So it'll be cool, right?
Um,
Oh, hey, MG. Okay. So the racial ideas were then at that time shared by the PHS officials who were in charge of the Tuskegee study. And then lastly, the PHS officials, so the last, because they said that there were three main points of it. The last one is that the PHS officials believed in continuing the experiment regardless of various social changes.
That's absolutely crazy.
So they refused. Not only did they continue the experiment, but they refused to end it.
Because they were drunk with power at that point.
They refused to end it. Okay, so we now know that they gave it to them. They left them untreated, that the cure was found, and they didn't give it to them. They lied to them about what they were doing in the first place. They had bad blood.
True.
They were lied to. They were manipulated. They were coerced. They were targeted.
Yeah, they weren't allowed to opt out.
Right. They were not given choice. They were also not given consent, and no consent was recorded.
Right.
And again, they let this go on through 40 years, generation after generation of them infecting their wives and children infecting others as they grew up.
Yeah.
And this continued all the way till 2010. We still have some of their kids that are alive today.
Right.
That now, they're supposedly getting the medical and everything that they're supposed to be getting. But yeah, we don't really know if that's true or not. Okay, they lied to us about the whole damn thing. So I'm not real convinced on their ability to tell me the truth about it now.
I mean, fair enough.
And they considered Black participants to not only be poor, but also ignorant of and even unwilling to undergo treatments. When right. So when the exposure of the experiment led to the Senate investigation in 1973, the participating doctors of the PHS maintained that their study offered valuable contribution to medical research. Lies. You damn liars.
True.
Okay. Just saying. So when the exposure of the experiment, we said that. The paper argues combinations of the efficiency of military medicine, progressive and imperial racial ideology, and discrimination on African Americans resulted in the Tuskegee syphilis experiment.
Right.
Okay. We're going to look at the History Channel and what the History Channel wants to tell us, right?
What do they say?
Right.
I mean, you're right though, Big Toe. We
You got a
don't know for
point.
sure.
Right? I was just reading his comment. That's why I got quiet. Yeah,
Yeah, I did too, because I was like, oh yeah, I doubt that they're getting treatment. If they're willing to blow the Murrow building over depleted uranium illness, you know they don't want to give treatment.
you ain't
And
lying. You ain't lying.
you ain't lying though. That's
Where's
real.
the lie? I don't know.
Where's the lie? You're right. Because that's true. You know, they're willing to go to such extreme lengths to cover up their inequities and their inconsistencies.
Right. Okay. So I don't know. Okay. So the History Channel says, in order to track the disease's full progression, researchers provided no effective care as the study's African American participants experienced severe health problems, including blindness, mental impairment, and or death.
Yeah.
Tuskegee experiment began 1932. There was no known treatment for syphilis. It was a very contagious venereal disease. These men were recruited by promises of free medical care. 600 African American men in Macon County, Alabama, were enrolled in the project, which aimed to study the full progression of this disease.
Wow. And why couldn't you just fire folks who had it?
Right.
Why couldn't you just fire folks who had it? And then you could have paid them even probably $5, $10 back then, and they'd have been like, "Yeah, buddy,
Right.
for real. $10 would have got you a lot back then,
Right.
for real."
And this is even worse because most of the participants, which only the History Channels told us this part, were primarily sharecroppers, and many had never even seen a doctor before.
Oh, see, so then they didn't even know no better.
Doctors from the United States Public Health Service, PHS, was running the study and informed the participants, 399 men with latent syphilis and a control group of 201 others who were free of the disease. They were being treated for bad blood, a term commonly used in the area at the time to refer to a variety of ailments.
That's terrible. That's absolutely awful that we did this to people.
Right.
You know, treated them less than human.
Oh, we did.
You know, and just dogged all these people.
These men were monitored by health workers, but given placebos such as aspirin and mineral supplements, despite the fact that penicillin became recommended treatment in 1947, some 15 years into the study. PHS researchers convinced local physicians in Macon County not to treat the participants, and instead research was done at the Tuskegee Institute, now it's called Tuskegee University, founded in 1881. Booker T. Washington was its first teacher, actually. So that's kind of an interesting fact. In order to track the disease's full progression, researchers provided no effective care as these men died, went blind or insane, and or experienced other severe health problems due to untreated syphilis. They let these people die, go blind, and go crazy, G.
Yeah.
Even after the cure was known and found. The whole point of the experiment was to find the cure. They found the cure and then didn't give the cure to the people that found the cure. How messed up is that?
That's hella messed up. When you really think
That
about
is
that, because they could have ended the study.
right. Right. 15 years into the study, they could have ended the study.
Yep.
How long did this go? 40 years. They kept the study going that many years after the cure was found. Are you serious?
They should all go for crimes against humanity. They should have at the time. Honestly.
Yeah. I'm just saying, that's pretty drastic, man.
It really is when you think about it.
Right,
Like,
right,
had the cure, could have helped these folks. Decided not to. Decided they
right.
weren't worth the cure.
No, we're just going to keep researching them and writing down results.
Right.
Okay. So then in the mid 1960s, a PHS venereal disease investigator in San Francisco named Peter Buxton found out about the Tuskegee study and expressed his concerns to superiors that it was unethical.
Right.
So in response, PHS officials formed a committee to review the study, ultimately opted to continue it. Did you hear that? Did you hear that?
See, look, could have ended it again.
Could have ended it again. And went, nope.
We're just gonna keep hanging on.
Okay, so for those keeping count, because we don't like to really keep score, but I'm keeping score. I don't care. Okay. Hashtag sorry, not sorry, said what I said. This is now 3 times our government could have ended this.
Right.
And didn't. Okay. Now, they ultimately opted to continue it with the goal of tracking the participants until all had died. Autopsies were performed and the project data could be analyzed.
Wow.
Not only did they decide that they were going to continue it, but they decided they were going to, oh my God, they were going to do it till they died. Till
Yeah.
they died. And they could do autopsies on their bodies and record the results.
Yeah, of lifelong syphilis when you already had the cure.
Yeah.
What the hell?
So not only have you now screwed these men over a third time, but now you have literally signed their death certificate with syphilis.
Right. And you go screw them over forever.
Right.
The rest of their natural lives, at least. Like, what? That was your plan? This is
Right.
sad, you guys. And if people don't realize this is where we came from for medical research, and people don't think that they're not doing something like this now, just secretly behind doors, they're crazy.
You a special kind of stupid.
Right? I got oceanfront property in Arizona right now. I can sell it to you.
Golden Gate's free, man. Golden Gate's free.
Golden Gate's free. Yep.
Oh, man. Buxton then leaked the story to a reporter friend who passed it on to a fellow reporter, Gene Heller of the Associated Press. Heller broke this story in July of 1972, prompting the public outrage and forcing the study to finally shut down. By that time,
good for the people. Power to the people.
right. But by that time, 28 participants had perished from syphilis.
Wow.
100 more had passed away from related complications, which would be those other things like blindness, mental illness.
Right.
Okay, so now we're at what? We had 600, so we're at 128. 40 spouses. At least 40 of the spouses had been diagnosed with the disease, and it was passed to 19 children at birth.
Wow. And no one cared.
Okay.
They probably didn't even realize what was going on.
Right? Well, it says that most of them had never even seen a doctor before.
True.
Now, 1973, Congress holds a hearing on the Tuskegee experiments, and the following year, study surviving participants, along with the heirs of those who died, received a $10 million out-of-court settlement. New guidelines were issued to protect human subjects in U.S. government-funded research projects. As a result of Tuskegee experiment, many African Americans developed a lingering deep mistrust of public health officials and vaccines. See, they put this shit in y'all's head, and now they trying to make anti-vaxxers seem crazy. But look what they did.
Right. And that was admitted. That's just what they admitted to.
Mm-hmm. And again, for those that haven't heard before, anything that they're admitting to now means that they're just trying to keep your attention off of something far worse over here.
True.
Okay. Now, in part to foster racial healing, 1997, Bill Clinton issues an apology stating that the United States government did something that was wrong, deeply, profoundly, morally wrong. Deeply, profoundly, and morally wrong. Gee, you fucking think? You gave them syphilis. You kept them from the cure. You took it to court and said, no, we're still not ending it. You think? He also said it is not only in remembering that shameful past that we can make amends and repair our nation, but it is in remembering that past that we can build a better present and a better future. Also, during the apology, he announced plans for the establishment of Tuskegee University National Center for Bioethics in Research in Healthcare. The final study participant passed away in 2004. Tuskegee wasn't the first unethical syphilis study. In 2010, President Barack Obama and other federal officials apologized for another U.S. sponsored experiment conducted decades earlier. Uh-oh. Did you guys hear that? Decades earlier in Guatemala, that study was from 1946 to 1948, and 700 men and women, prisoners, soldiers, mental patients, were intentionally infected with syphilis. Hundreds more were exposed to other sexually transmitted diseases as part of the study without their knowledge or consent. And the purpose of the study was to determine whether penicillin could prevent, not just cure, syphilis infection. Some of those who became infected never received medical treatment. So, let me say this a little bit clearer for the ones in the back. Tuskegee, they did. But then they compiled it and made it worse and did another one in Guatemala with another large group of men and women. Where are you at? Did you ditch us, Scarlett? Hello, lady. Are you there? And this study also took place with the cooperation of Guatemalan government officials, but results were never published. The American public health researcher in charge of the project, who was Dr. John Cutler, also went on to become a lead researcher in the Tuskegee experiments. Following his death in 2003, historian Susan Reverby uncovered the records of the Guatemala experiments while doing research related to Tuskegee's study. She shared her findings with the United States government officials in 2010. 2010. 11 years ago. Hmm. Hmm. 11 years ago. Very soon afterwards, then Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and Secretary of Health and Human Services Kathleen Sebelius issued an apology for the STD study, and President Obama called the Guatemalan president to apologize for the experiments. So, in Clinton's time, he makes the apology for we totally are. And we've been saying that this whole broadcast for the most part. Yes, we totally are. And this is why we were talking about the 10 laws that create the Nuremberg Code, because that's going to be very vital, I think, in what's happening right now. And people need to really be paying attention. You know, so um Tuskegee is also referred to as the Black Belt because of its rich soil and vast number of black sharecroppers who were the economic backbone of this region. So the research itself took place on the campus of Tuskegee Institute. They designed it, and the intent of the study was to record the natural history of syphilis in blacks. The study was called the Tuskegee Study of Untreated Syphilis in the Negro Male. When the study was initiated, there were no proven treatments for the disease, and researchers told these men participating in the study that they were to be treated for bad blood, the term used, and it described, as we know, a bunch of different. Ooh, so that hits right back to what you were saying there, Scarlett, with them being illiterate. Scarlett, come back. Where you at, G? Where you at? These men were offered what most Negroes could only dream of in terms of medical care and survivors insurance. They were enticed and enrolled in the study with incentives including medical exams, rides to and from the clinics, meals on examination days, free treatment for minor ailments, and guarantees that provisions would be made after their deaths in terms of burial stipends paid to their survivors. So, their survivors were supposed to get burial stipends, but again, that would have just been enough to bury them. Right, right. Exactly, MG. Exactly. Because they were the big, they were the big part of their area. Without their farming and stuff, their whole area falls. Scarlet. It is unreal, Lee, but this is history. This is truth. They did this. And like we just said, they didn't just do it in Tuskegee, Tuskegee, they also did it in Guatemala. And again, this we've moved on to tuskegee.edu, and we're reading what the Tuskegee University actually says about this study that they were involved in, right? Okay. So they say penicillin became the standard treatment for this disease 1947. Medicine was withheld as part of the treatment for both of the experimental group and the control group. So they withheld it from both. So even though, and again, like we've already pointed out, 3 times they could have ended the Tuskegee experiment and did not do it. They continued it anyway, despite what it was doing, despite the deaths, despite the illnesses, despite what it was doing, the blindness, the mental illness, and the deaths. They were still doing it, and they did not offer the cure. And these people would have no idea that the cure was even available because they're trusting these guys. Here they are trusting these guys. And most of these guys, like they said, are the sharecropper backbones of their belt there in Tuskegee, and they're illiterate. They haven't gone to school. They've never seen doctors. So, they have no reason to question or think anything's being done to them wrongly. Scarlet, I keep feeling like we hear stuff moving around, but we're not hearing you. We miss you. Come back. So then 1975, or I'm sorry, 1972, July 25th, Gene Heller from Associated Press breaks the story. It appears in New York and Washington. There's been a 40-year non-therapeutic experiment called A Study on the Effects of Untreated Syphilis on Black Men in the Rural South. Now, between the start of the study, 1932, 1947, the date when penicillin is determined as a cure for the disease. Dozens of men had died. Their wives, children, untold numbers of others have been infected. Set into motion international public outcry, a series of actions initiated by United States federal agencies. The Assistant Secretary for Health and Scientific Affairs, appointed on ad hoc advisory panel, compromise. Now, please let that sit in. They got all of these kinds of people together on a little committee to look at this study. You're still not back, Scarlett. There's like fuzzy stuff going on, but it's not you. Right? How true you are there. How true you are. And then it says that the panel concluded that the men participated in the study freely agreeing to the examinations and treatments. There was evidence that scientific research protocol routinely applied to human subjects was either ignored or deeply flawed to ensure the safety and well-being of the men involved. Specifically, the men were never told about or offered the research procedure called informed consent. Researchers had not informed the men of the actual name of the study, i.e., Tuskegee Study of Untreated Syphilis in the Negro Male, its purpose, and the potential consequences of the treatment or non-treatment that they would receive during the study. I'm not sure. Now the men never knew that there would be debilitating and life-threatening consequences of the treatments they were to receive. They were not told of the impact on their wives, girlfriends, children that they may have conceived once involved in the research. The panel also concluded that there were no choices given to the participants to quit the study when penicillin became available as a treatment and cure for syphilis. So not only were they denied the cure, but they weren't allowed to quit the study. Wow. That's crazy. That's just crazy. After reviewing results of the research, the panel concluded that the study was ethically unjustified, and panel articulated all of the above findings in October of 1972. A month later, the Assistant Secretary for Health and Scientific Affairs officially declared the end of the Tuskegee study. So even after they said that it was unethical, they still allowed it to continue for another month. In 1973, attorney Fred Gray files a class action suit on behalf of men in the study, their wives, children, and families, and the settlement given more than $9 million to the study participants. Beginning of the 20th century, the U.S. Public Health Service, PHS, was entrusted with the responsibility to monitor, identify trends in the health of the citizenry, and develop interventions to treat disease ailments and negative trends adversely impacting the health and wellness of Americans. Yes, yes, I am not in disagreement with that in any way whatsoever. I would definitely say sociopathic. Now, It was organized into sections and divisions, including one devoted to venereal diseases. All sections of the PHS conducted scientific research involving human beings. The research standards were, for their times, adequate by comparison to today's standards, dramatically different and influenced by the professional and personal biases of the people leading the PHS. Scientists believed that few people outside of the scientific community could comprehend the the complexities of research, from the nature of the scientific experiments to the consent involved in becoming a research subject. These sentiments were particularly true about the poor and uneducated Black community. The PHS again, again, they just keep going with this. They like just keep screwing these guys. No dying. You're not allowed to die. So I'm gonna need to get your coffee butt together over there. Because you're not allowed to die, G. We've had this conversation. Now, they've lied to them. They've prevented treatment. They've prevented them from quitting the study. I know. I was just wondering, is she okay? She's like choking out over there. We haven't heard anything from her. And then all of a sudden she's choking out. What?
I said true.
Okay. Hi, welcome back.
Hi.
You've been gone like super long time. Or at least they were keeping you from us for a super long time.
About that.
Yeah, it was weird.
Right.
Now, as part of the class action suit settlement, the U.S. government promised to provide a range of free services to the survivors of the study, their wives, widows, and children. And all living participants became immediately entitled to free medical and burial services. Services were provided by the Tuskegee Health Benefit Program, which was and continues to be administered by the Center for Disease Control. Oh, Lord, is controlled by the CDC. So you know these people ain't getting their shit.
Man, please.
Right? They ain't getting nothing. And you heard, right, how these guys that they used in Tuskegee were mostly illiterate, right?
Right. It's terrible. Absolutely awful.
So in their national center, they are you kidding me? Uh
We're getting kicked out or something's going on. I'm not quite sure what's happening. We'll have to see what happens. There we go.
okay, am I back? Yeah. Yeah. Burial services, MG. You ain't never lied. A 6x4 plot of land. That's what they got. Pretty much right there. Okay. And now you're gonna say that it was possibly doing bad in the name of good. Are you kidding me right now? Resulting from this gathering was the creation of the Tuskegee Syphilis Study Legacy Committee, which met for the first time January 18th and 19th of 1996. They had two goals: to persuade President Clinton to apologize on behalf of the government for the atrocities of the study, and to develop a strategy to address the damages of the study to the psyche of African Americans and others about the ethical behavior of the government-led research. Well, they failed at this.
They did.
They epically failed at that. They also wanted to, I guess, rebuild the reputation of Tuskegee through public education about the study, developing a clearinghouse on the ethics of scientific research and scholarship, and assemble training programs for healthcare providers. Intensive discussions for the committee's final report in May of 1996 urged President Clinton to apologize for the emotional, medical, research, and psychological damage of the study. On May 16th, at the White House, ceremony attended by the members of the Legacy Committee and others representing the medical and research communities, the apology was delivered to the surviving participants of the study and families of the deceased. So, like, it's like, as we keep reading all these different articles, we're seeing other angles of what they're saying. Like, some articles aren't giving all the details of everything. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Right. It's a way to piece together the puzzle.
right. You know, we're leaving out some vital information here and there.
Right. We'll have to get back. We'll have to maybe do another part about this because I hate to cut it short, but I'm gonna have to get bed here. So I gotta get up early in the morning.
Right, right.
It's just wild
Well,
what they're capable of, and what they can do, and what they've done.
the last thing that I want to cover before we go is, if you think that it stopped with Tuskegee and Guatemala, let me just bring up another article that is also on the CDC. Wow. Okay. That's already a wow. Thompson, a 17-year-old CDC veteran, is the author of some of the leading studies cited by CDC to exculpate vaccines from the autism epidemic. Thompson, who still works at CDC, released the raw data sets that he says his bosses at CDC ordered him to conceal. Those data show Black boys who received the MMR vaccine prior to 3 years old, as the CDC recommends, were 3.36 times more likely to receive an autism diagnosis than those who received the vaccine after 3 years of age. This effect was not observed in other race categories. Nevertheless, When the CDC scientists published their results in pediatrics in 2004, they omitted this damaging data, fraudulently declaring. So again, knowing there was and denying it. Knowing there was and denying it. Yet again, yet again. In 2014, Dr. Thomas issued a press release through an attorney stating that I regret that my co-authors and I omitted statistically significant information in our 2004 article published in the journal Pediatrics. The omitted data suggested that African American males who received the MMR vaccine before age 36 months were at increased risk for autism. The buried data were disturbing, but hardly surprising. Most reliable studies in the scientific literature indicate that African Americans, more susceptible to vaccine injury, may also have increased susceptibility to neurological disorders such as autism. 2010 nationwide study of CDC's Autism and Developmental Disability Monitoring Network found autism
Wow.
That's a lot. Like a lot for what we're talking about. A 2014 study published in Pediatrics showed higher rates of all categories of autism among African Americans in Los Angeles County compared to Caucasians, with the incidence of severe autism elevating by 263% among foreign-born Blacks and 152% for U.S.-born Blacks as compared to U.S.-born whites. Again, known information. A 2010 study in Journal of Toxicology Environmental Health showed that the Blacks were at significantly greater risk of regressing into autism after receiving the thimerosal-containing hepatitis B vaccines, which we were just talking about earlier today, Scarlett, in series as infants.
That is true.
53% more. And they're still like, they have to have it. Are you serious right now?
Right.
Hepatitis B is one of those things that they won't even let your kid go to school without.
Well, they say that, but there's exemptions.
Right. But how many African American people know to not get this vaccine?
True.
Are they even told that they're at a 53% higher risk?
Probably not.
Have you ever been told?
No, I have not.
Just saying. And you have a boy of color.
True.
Also on the spectrum.
True.
Based upon all the population data and CDC's most recent autism incidence estimates, at least 100,000 African American male children could have been spared debilitating neurological injuries if the CDC scientists had told the truth when the increased risk was first known to them in 2001. That's insane, G.
Why do they try to hide this?
Dr. Thompson is requested to testify before Congress about corruption at CDC and has handed Congress over thousands of pages of documents showing widespread fraud in CDC's vaccine division. It's not the first time the CDC has concealed vaccine risks from African Americans. Less than 10 years ago, in June of 1996, African Americans in Los Angeles learned that the CDC had been
CDC had been what?
doing vaccine experiments in their communities,
Wow.
unbeknownst to them, right in Los Angeles.
Wow.
Beginning in 1989, CDC conducted an experiment on nearly 1,500 Black and Hispanic infants using an unlicensed measles vaccine and didn't tell the parents.
Wow.
And the drug was high potency experimental vaccine designed to overwhelm the baby's maternal immune system.
Mm-mm.
CDC halted its secret experiment in 1991.
Wow.
Oh my God. Oh my God. 89 to 91. 89 to 91.
Wow.
Those are
That's
like,
really,
that's like my husband.
no.
What? Yeah. I'm unmuted now, right? Yeah. Dr. Thompson living long enough to testify. So they showed an increased death rate, severe immune system disorder among female infants who received the vaccine. Children died within 2 years after the vaccine. The mistake was made. It shocked me, the CDC director, Dr. David Satcher, told the LA Times. We need to move to a new level of assurance so people can trust what we're doing. CDC denies that any Los Angeles Black children were injured by the unlicensed vaccine, but has not produced any studies to confirm the claim. And you already lied, so I don't believe you, you lying liar holes. Okay, 1972, government whistleblower Peter Buxton revealed that for the previous 40 years, beginning in 1932, CDC and the U.S. Public Health Service conducted the Tuskegee experiment to study the progression of untreated syphilis in impoverished African American men in rural Alabama. Health regulators lured illiterate sharecroppers with the promise of hot meals, funeral costs, free health care from the U.S. government. To the Center for Disease Control took over the study in early 1960s. 299 syphilitic sharecroppers were ever told they had the disease. CDC purposefully withheld penicillin after it became a proven treatment in 1947, prevented participants from accessing syphilis treatment programs elsewhere. There were numerous men who died. For we did anything. So again, we're doing it again with the MMR vaccine. How are we still allowing this to happen?
People are just not educated enough.
This is horrendous.
It really is.
Like, it's absolutely horrendous that we are still allowing this to go down. Like, we did it once. Okay, bad on us. I get it. But this is like a lot. We're not getting better, being the point, okay? We're getting worse.
Right.
And now here we are being forced this vaccine or inoculation or whatever they want to call it right now, we're being forced. This is being forced on us And we're learning, and well, we're not learning, we're just rereading about all of these things, the Tuskegee experiment, the trials for Nuremberg, the laws that create the Nuremberg Code. These were all invented for these exact things, for the exact thing that's happening right now with this vaccine. And then, like we were talking about, a big thing right now is the fact that this didn't just happen in Tuskegee. They repeated it in Guatemala. They repeated the same study in Guatemala.
Right.
And then turned around and did this shit with the MMR and the African American children.
True.
No, MG. It's not even that they're luring in homeless shelters now. Now they're doing shit like, oh, well, if you go get this vaccine and you allow us to stab you, we're gonna put you in a drawing for $1 million.
Right.
You could win $1 million here in Colorado just by going to get your vaccine.
Yeah, you could win $1 million.
Right. They have drawn 2 names. 2 people have been awarded thus far.
I mean, I wonder how many people are in
5.
Colorado. Okay.
There's supposed to be 5 total, and 2 have already been done. So we're still there's still 3 more out there that have to be drawn. So that's where we're at. So they've already given out 2 million.
Damn.
Just for going to have your vaccine. This is coercion, dude. This is total coercion. Like, when you're bribing people like this to go get this freaking I don't trust it, man. There's got to be a reason that you're forcing this on the American people the way that you are.
True.
And it's not for the betterment of the American people. And you've proven that you have no qualms doing something against the betterment of the American people. You have also proven that you have no qualms doing shit that does not prove to be ethical or moral or for the betterment of the society that you're doing it in.
True.
You've also proven that you will not only conduct this without consent or knowledge even given to the people, but that you will lie to them on what they are really a part of.
Yeah.
You have also proven that you will deny them the very cure in which that you say you're using them to find.
True.
Then you also have proven that you will prevent them from quitting the experiment.
True.
You have also proven that you will turn a blind eye to all of this for 40 plus years. You have also proven that there were 3 times that you could have stopped what you were doing and did it. And continued the lie. And continued the harm. Yeah. Despite the betterment of the people. And you expect us to believe you now? CDC, you are behind this study. You're behind this injection.
Right.
You don't have, you're behind the MMR vaccine that, again, is targeting African Americans.
True.
And again, you're turning up. Where is the outrage for this? Hello? Where is the outrage? Why are we not screaming from the rooftops that they are poisoning our African American people across the United States with the MMR vaccine?
True. I mean, I can't even believe we're saying this. Like, this just seems unbelievable.
We don't get $100 because we're not getting the vaccine, MG.
Bruh.
We get gypped because we're not doing it. And TLO, welcome back. And then they do, I've been saying that that it was Hillary that made the apology for Tuskegee. And I have been misspoken on this. It was not. It was her husband, Bill Clinton. She did make an apology. I was not incorrect about this. But what I was incorrect about was what she made the apology for. She made the apology for the same experiment in Tuskegee, but done in Guatemala. And I didn't realize that.
Oh.
I, as an educated American on this, didn't realize that. So I can imagine the uneducated Americans out there really don't understand that. That was our public apology from the United States to the government of Guatemala for what we did there.
Right.
We had to apologize to an entire country, y'all. Because not only did we do this to our own people, but we went and did it to other countries' people. Another 700 plus people. We did it to in another country. But the other country ended our shit in like 4 years. They were like, no, done. We kept our shit going for 40 plus because we ruthless.
True.
Yes, it is. The MMR vaccine is killing the Black community as well as giving such a rise in autism. 253% higher. 253% higher.
They do this then. And it's still given to this day.
And it's still being pushed to the Black American children under the age of 3.
Yep.
Still, right now, as we're speaking, it is still being pushed. They're still experimenting. But they wouldn't do that now, right? Right. Because that's not at all what's going down right now. They didn't tell us that it could take years to make the vaccine. They didn't then tell us that it could take years once the vaccine was made to get it approved to go to humans.
True.
And then they didn't all of a sudden produce it in 6 months. I mean, that didn't happen.
Nope, didn't happen. Not at all.
They didn't then, in less than 7 months of that time frame, turn around and release it to the public and say it's emergency. Right. Yeah, it's a fucking emergency. You damn right it's emergency. It's emergency. You about to be knocked the fuck out. You come to my gate, hold the needle, talking about you about to force some shit on me. I'm gonna hurt you. You are a threat.
Force vax is medical rape. Change my mind.
This is medical tyranny.
Force vax is medical rape. Change my mind.
It absolutely is. And I should pull that book back out about the whole medical rape thing and my whole breakdown of that and what rape means and the definitions and all the different ways.
Yeah, we should go back to that because that was a while ago, but we need to go back to that.
Right. You're right, though. MG. You're right. We only see the outrage when cops are killing Black people, but anything else is A-okay. It's okay that the MMR vaccine is killing and giving autism to the Black community. That's perfectly okay because science says we have to break a few eggs to make some omelets.
Right. That's true.
But the Nuremberg trial says we ain't allowed to break no eggs to make the omelet.
That's true. But we're doing it anyway.
Right. And again, like, I understand that you want to stay warm, homie. I get it. But it ain't my job to set myself on fire to keep you warm. You want to set yourself on fire? That's your choice. Do you, boo-boo? But that ain't my choice.
Right.
I will gladly go with you and collect some firewood. I will gladly go with you, collect some bushes, some papers. Shit, we will get some furniture and break that shit down. We will stay warm together. I will even strip down naked and do body to body, touch me and keep me warm if we have to. But what I am not doing is setting my motherfucking self on fire to keep your ass warm.
True.
Okay? Not doing it. I'm not letting you kill me to eat me because we all starving. I ain't doing that. Now, should I be sick and I should die or something should happen? Sure, eat my ass. Go ahead, eat me up. Let me go to the betterment of the people. But that don't mean you get to kill me to eat me. That's not what that means.
Right.
Okay? I'm just saying. When you are forcing something on somebody as hard as you are forcing this on us, it's not about the vaccine, guys. It can't be. They would not be forcing something like this on us if it was truly about that.
True.
Okay, because again, all right. For the majority of people out there that own dogs and cats, okay, right? That's a big majority, right? Y'all get the rabies shot for your dog or cat, right?
Right.
Now, your dog or cat has the rabies shot. Do you lock your dog away and keep it away from every single thing because they may have rabies and they could infect your dog or cat? No, you really don't. Now you're like, oh, my animal is protected from the rabies disease because I got the vaccine. If my dog kills a rabbit that has rabies, it's cool because I got the vaccine. You're not like all trying to like keep them all hidden in dark little rooms, protected from everything and whatnot because they got the vaccine. So it kind of goes the same way. Like, you're not worried because the rabies vaccine works.
Right.
Chances of them getting the rabies disease being vaccinated ahead of time is actually really good. And it does work. However, asinine to sit and say, oh my God, the rabbit is not vaccinated and it probably just affected my dog. Because that's not how the vaccine works. Another, to break it down into even more simpler terms, it's raining. You pull out an umbrella. You're walking down the road. The guy next to you doesn't have an umbrella. You're looking over at him and going, hey, stupid. You not using your umbrella makes my umbrella worthless. You ain't never lied. Right. At least then we would be on level playing fields, right? But yeah, especially for a vaccine with a virus with such low death rate. You're absolutely correct on this. Like, the death rate It's like, the survival rate is like 99% without the vaccine. With the vaccine, it's like 96% effective. So it's not even as effective as saying getting it naturally. So why? Which analogy? The one where, hey, the umbrella, your umbrella, my umbrella isn't working because you're not using your umbrella. Like, come on. Are you back? Did you make it? That really gave you a hard time, G.
But I don't want
Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna do that. It's so all this
to.
bullshit that they're putting into our heads about being selfish. It's a fear tactic. It's a peer pressure tactic. Yes. And TLO, to be honest, with the statistics of the vaccine, you're way better off going with your natural immunity before getting the vaccine, according to the actual CDC. If you go on there and you actually look at what they're telling you, the CDC actually is putting the information up there, but most people are like, "Oh, you're lying about it," but you're really not. It's there, and it tells you the same thing. It's like even I believe it's the CDC says that like 73% of vaccinated people are still catching the virus. Yeah, it's a great analogy, MG, like for real. I mean, that's really what you're trying to tell me right now is I haven't had the vaccine, so because I haven't had the vaccine, your vaccine is ineffective. And people are like, science, science. Okay, well, you know what? Let's just go with like simple logic. Simple logic is it's pouring down rain. I'm using a freaking great umbrella. I'm completely dry. Dude walks up next to me, not using an umbrella. Now all of a sudden I'm wet because he's not using an umbrella. No, that's not how the umbrella world works. Like, yeah, something's going on with her stuff. And yeah, like again, you're supposed to trust these guys, but like I've said too, how are you supposed to know what they're saying is truth? Because like I'm not a scientist, so when they say stuff and give me scientific data, I really do just have to accept the word of somebody else that what they're saying is truth. I have no real way of knowing if it is true or not, other than these people are supposed to be um in a position where they don't lie. And well, unfortunately they're still human, and no matter what we do, that's always going to be a thing. And no matter what else we do, they're in positions of power, and that means that they're going to lie to keep those positions of power. They're going to manipulate to keep those positions of power. And then these webs start and things get worse, and then one thing leads to another, and here we are in an epidemic being force vaccinated. you know Snowball effect, man. Snowball effect. But here's the thing: the CDC has proven repetitive amounts of times as well that they cannot be trusted to give us any information. Any. And yes, we are supposed to trust them when they give us pro vaccine data. But when they give us non pro vaccine data, we're making it up. It's not really there. Somehow they don't see it. I don't know. Right, right. Yeah, it's like a catch-22 because the people love the whole idea of no, let me take that back. It's not that they love the whole idea of it's that people cannot stand to be wrong. They don't want to be wrong. They can't stand to be wrong. They can't admit when they're wrong. Ego stands in the way. This is a big deal. Ego stands in the way. When ego is in the way, then your lower self is actually taking over, and that lower self is what we're supposed to be fighting down and keeping away anyway. But your lower self is rising, and your lower self is taking over. And in fact, then you can't admit to the truth. So when truth is presented to you, you become so against hearing it. You hear only what you want to hear to continue where you want to continue in the thought process that you want to continue. Your brain is going to alter anything that you hear, anything that it sees, anything, whatever, to alter exactly what you want it to, because that's how our brain works. And we've been so conditioned to listen to the CDC, but yet, like you say, when you bring up the negatives that the CDC says, we're not supposed to be listening to that part of what the CDC says, only the part that fits their agenda. Only that part, yo. Only that part. Because that's just how they do, I guess. But and it's what they've been doing. And we've allowed it now with Tuskegee. We've allowed it now with Guatemala. We've allowed it now with the MMR vaccine, which is the most recent. So let me bring you around to, because we're always a little spiritual here, energy working, right? So let me bring you around to a thought process, right? They're going to continue to do what we allow. We've set precedent. We say all the time, people are going to treat you exactly how you train them to treat you. If you allow a treatment, then it is going to continue because they believe that that's acceptable treatment. And once you've allowed a treatment, it's very hard to break the treatment that you have allowed because they are now set in a treatment that has been allowed, and trying to change that now is very difficult within their minds. So once you've allowed a treatment and continue to allow it in your everyday life and allow that energy in, that will happen. So in a larger scale of everything going on here, it would be the same thing. So we've allowed Tuskegee, we've allowed Guatemala, we've allowed the MMR, again, very recent. So we again have set a pattern of acceptance with these matters, and thus have told the government that it's completely okay to continue to strip our civil rights from us and use us as unsuspecting experimental projects. And as long as they admit it later and apologize for it, all is forgiven and everything is okay. As long as they give some money to people, all is forgiven and everything is okay. We need to be teaching rather than teaching that these things are acceptable like this. If we just grease some palms and give out some money, perhaps we should be teaching more that these are completely unacceptable treatments to begin with. No amount of money, no amount of anything can make up for what you have done and are continuing to do. You've made a pattern of this. It is a set pattern of stripping our civil rights, slowly but surely. Wash, rinse, repeat. Exactly. And when we expanded to Guatemala, look at here. Look at what we've done here. China, Australia, Britain, or well, Europe, period. Asia, period. I guess we just should say Asia, um, the United States, guaranteed they all have government to government agreements, just like we did in Guatemala. But Guatemala officials were lied to about the true nature of the experiment, which is what Hillary Clinton had to come out and apologize for. And she wasn't apologizing for the experiment, see, and that's kind of messed up, and I don't think people realize that either, because she really wasn't apologizing for the experiment and what they did to those people over in Guatemala, because Guatemala was worse than Alabama, because they actually intentionally infected those men and women in Guatemala, and they did men and women in Guatemala. So that was actually even worse. And when she made the apology, she wasn't even apologizing for the study and or experiment. She was apologizing to the Guatemalan government for the lies and deception that they were given to allow us to come over and do this to their people. And that was all done, and it was only done for political reason and standpoint. To get approval from Guatemala at the time. And yes, they're apologizing for getting caught. They're not apologizing for what they did. They're apologizing only that we know that they did it, which is even more sick when you think about it. Like, again, with your sociopathic, it's insane. And again, here we are allowing it to happen. No outrage, nothing. When those that are knowledgeable and do speak out about it, we are made to feel crazy and like we don't know, and that they would never do these things. But they have shown pattern, they have shown history, they have shown that they are not above lying to governments to go run experiments on their people. So when they say that, we, the United States, are really behind the COVID virus and what's going on, that we funded the research over in Wuhan, it really wouldn't surprise me. I mean, we did all of this in the Tuskegee experiment, Guatemala study, and then the MMR vaccine is happening right here on U.S. soil again across all of America. And well, the world, because the MMR vaccine goes worldwide, I do believe. It's not just here in the United States. So, maybe that's part of the World Health Organization. I'm not sure, but maybe that's part of what they all play a part into is the agreement of these experimental vaccines on the people. Everybody screams, MMR vaccine, safe, 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 but they have said that it's not safe. Everybody says, oh, the CDC says that it's not linked to autism. Yeah, and then they came out and said that it was, and you ignored that part. You ignored that part. You ignored the part that they came out and did admit years after they denied it, came out and then admitted that it was true. And anyone out there that has been against being experimentally vaccinated on in this world of still continuing experimentation by the CDC, health organization, and government officials of the United States, you did this to yourselves, man. Like, you are the ones that have done all of these things, and you haven't proven that you have changed, altered, or gotten any better. Yeah, the players have changed, but the game has remained the same. It's like they leave a playbook behind, you know. It's like an ongoing, continual game of chess with the citizens of the United States as the pawns. So yeah, I don't believe that it is something that should be rushed into. And again, you know, if you do and you have to or whatnot, you know, no judgment. Do what you want to do, and I support you in that decision. But you know, I expect the same respect in return. So if I choose not to, whatever my reasons, despite anything, it should be choice. Where there is risk, there needs to be choice. You can't get around that. Um, and again, you know, the statistics are just not that great, and I just don't think there's been enough research or anything done. And I feel like that for a lot of vaccines, period. And you know, and again, if you do the research, you look the stuff up, it's all there. It's there. It's there to tell you, you know, that they've known about the MMR and what it's doing, and they don't care. They're continuing to do it still to this day. They've released the information on their site even, and we're still like, yep, no, it's yeah, whatever. You know, and that's not the way it should be. Um, you know, this new recent MMR um vaccine thing is huge, and yet it's going on still right now, and no one is questioning it at all, not even a little bit. So again, this is helping to lay that groundwork for what we are considering acceptable behavior to us. And once we've given up and allowed it to happen, well, you know, the whole gas price thing, it's a control thing, man. It's yet another way that they're using to control us. Um, you know, if they've kept you out of work, kept you in fear, kept you in your home, kept you separate from family and friends, cut you off from your money, uh, oh right, coddle it. I get what you're saying. Yes. Um, so you know, if they do this and then they raise the price of things to a degree that they already know that you can't afford because they've had you poor and kept you that way. You know, everybody's like, oh, it's okay because, you know, I got what, $1,500 or I get $250 or I get $300 a month, or some people do get quite a lot because they have a lot of kids. But still, like, is that worth what you're trading in your civil rights? Are you still really able to live on that? It's CBD oil. Cod oil too is supposed to be like really good for your brain. Yeah. But like, it's insane to me that people can't put the dots together. Like, you don't see that they're controlling you. You can't see that by raising the gas price, it prevents you from traveling. Like, okay, so they've lifted the ban. You can go see your family. But can you go? Because now you can't afford to go. Because now you don't have a job. You don't have any money. You don't have a way to get any. And you're just waiting for the next installment from them to come in. And by the time that comes in, you need every drop of dime of it to be able to attain your life, to pay rent, to get groceries, to do anything, because that is the only amount of money that you have coming in, really. So, what are you going to do? Now gas is so freaking expensive, you can't even afford to go to a job. So some people that did have jobs through all of this, essential workers, for instance, that were going to work every day, now they can't even afford to go to work because gas prices are so freaking high. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me, MG, especially considering all of the defunding stuff that's been going on. The defunding talks, defund the police, and all that, all the big talk for that stuff. So, doesn't surprise me. Oh, all right, guys. So I have been on here for a while. I've covered mostly everything. Well, no, not mostly. I've covered everything I wanted to cover for tonight. We've lost Scarlett. I'm pretty sure she's down for the night. And I've got work tomorrow. So, well, later today. So I am going to wrap this up. And hopefully we'll be back next Sunday. Hopefully a little earlier than we were tonight. We'll see. And yeah, so we're gonna wrap it up. Remember what we talked about. And I think next week we're gonna continue talking about these things because, well, they need to be refreshed and reminded as much as possible. And I'm gonna get some more information together next week on the Guatemala stuff and more stuff on the MMR. And then whatever else we happen to be talking about. So good night, TLO. Thanks for joining. Thanks, MG. Love being here. Love coming back. I've missed you all. God bless you. And thanks, Lee. I hope you have an amazing week on purpose. I hope everything doesn't fall to shit in the next week. If it does, guys, know that I'm out here holding my ground like I should be. And hopefully you guys are too, and everybody makes it back to regroup next week. Dare to be different, dare to be you, and dare to learn to love yourself unconditionally. Yes, everybody stay safe. That's important. Make sure your bug out bags are packed. Be sure that you have food for at least 3 to 4 days, on lock. I have heard a rumor that we may be experiencing some blackouts and things. So you might just want to keep some food on hand. I'm not sure if that's going to be true or not. I've also heard that we could be experiencing some lockdowns too. So, like MG says, question everything. And yeah, mostly stay safe. All right, guys, it's been real. Love being here. Thanks everyone for joining us. Without you, there is no show. So it's always delightful when you guys make it. And you guys help make the show. So thanks. And we'll see you all next week.